Thanks for tuning in to Unbreakable with Chris Chamasiros. I talk about politics, sports, and entertainment to keep you well-rounded, what's going on around the world. If you don't like hearing the truth, definitely don't tune into this channel. So let's get started today. So over the weekend, I shouldn't even say over the weekend, on Easter Sunday of all things, President Trump, he goes full Mike Tyson. He threatens Iran and he says, Tuesday will be Power Plant Day and Bridge Day, all wrapped up in one in Iran. There will be nothing like it. Open the effing strait, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell. Just watch. Now, this is the part, he goes full Mike Tyson. Remember Mike Tyson after one of his fights? Praise be to Allah. This is what President Trump says. Praise be to Allah. President Donald J. Trump. It's just amazing, isn't it? It really is. We voted for this not to happen. We voted for no wars. But hey, on Easter Sunday, after Trump played with the kids and played with the Easter bunny and hid some eggs, it's, it's open the effing straight. Praise be to Allah. So would you expect anything different at this point? We have complete lunatics. I'm trying to sign in here. I'm just going to let this go for now in my chat. But we have complete lunatics running the government. You know, according to Trump and his religious advisors, President Trump is now Jesus Christ himself in the flesh. I made a video. I'm not bringing up that video again. I'm just going to let it be. But it's just amazing. I mean, you really can't make this stuff up. You really can't. And you know what, Trump? I don't really think they're too afraid of you. I don't think Iran is really afraid of anything that you've been saying at all. Like nothing. I mean, they're mocking President Trump with Lego videos. The Lego videos are hysterical, if you ask me. I'm going to play one in a minute. But let me just give me a second. Let me try to find it. Oh, I read you the tweet. Let me play you one of these Lego videos where Iran mocks Trump. I think it's hysterical. Oh, you gotta love it. Oil prices. All right, you get the point. I mean, I think it's great editing, great work. I don't know who made that for the Iranian people, but I always have technical problems, so whatever. Great job. I mean, they look terrified, Trump. They look terrified. Then they made another Lego video like enticing Trump, like, yeah, put boots on the ground. See what's going to happen to you. We're going to tear your ass up. You know, while your military was worried about transgenders and men in dresses and getting pronouns right and all the other bullshit. Iran's been building drones for 30 years. They got underground weapons. They got all types of stuff. But hey, the American military, they have more things to worry about, getting soldiers' pronouns correct and men in dresses and all the other garbage that goes on there. So, Trump, it looks to me that they're not intimidated. So I think you're going to have to, these idle threats on X, like, oh, Iran has 24 hours. They got 48 hours. Then it's 72 hours. Then it's 2 weeks. Then it's 3 weeks. Then it's a month. According to Trump, we won the war already. We won. There's nothing to see here. We won. They gave up. We won. America won. It's over. It's over. The war is over. But Trump just asked for $115 trillion. He's asking for more troops. More and more troops have been moved into the Middle East. I should say Iran, excuse me. And why is that, Trump? Is that because we won the war? Is that because they're terrified of you? No, that's because they're sticking up both middle fingers at you and saying, come on, let's do this. We're not handing over our country to the United States of America or Israel. And your idle threats at this point mean nothing to them. And Trump really underestimated his opponent. He thought this was going to be Venezuela. I've said this over and over again. And guess what? If you don't think there's going to be there's going to be boots on the ground. You know why? You know why there's going to be boots on the ground? Because that's what Benjamin Netanyahu wants. And that's who controls our country, Israel. That's what they want. President Trump is not in control here. He's not running the show here. What are you talking? Like, really? You believe anything that comes out of Trump's mouth at this point? You believe anything that he says? Didn't he run on no new wars? The entire Middle East is a waste of time. We're going to build our infrastructure in America. I've talked about this the other day. Trump comes out and he says, we don't have money for Medicaid. We don't have money for health care. We don't have money for child care. We don't have money for a border wall. He all but came out and said, because we have to keep Israel safe. We need money for war. Well, who are we at war for? Who are we at war for? Well, Tulsi Gabbard said Iran had no intentions of attacking us. Oh, we gotta lock up Tulsi now. I don't trust Joe Kent as far as I could throw him because I think he's a CIA plant. Joe Kent says the same thing. They had no intentions of attacking us. Matter of fact, their weapons can't even reach America. But I'll tell you a country in the Middle East that does have nuclear weapons. I'll tell you who that country is. That's Israel. And they are a threat to the entire planet. It's amazing that the United States of America and the military are in Iran because they don't want Iran, to have nuclear weapons. That's the excuse that you're hearing. Well, how come America is not concerned about Israel having nuclear weapons? They don't follow any of the international law. They commit war crimes over and over again. They're committing a genocide in Palestine. They're doing it in Lebanon. Now they're in Iran. They're going to go to Turkey. It's all about expanding their borders in the Middle East. Like a rabid maniac terrorist psychopath. But the only country that America is concerned about having nuclear weapons is Iran. Go figure. Go figure. Trump comes out today. I'm going to play the video in a minute. He's like, well, if it was up to me, I would just take their oil. I would just take the oil. We'll make a lot of money. That's all Trump ever talks about. I want to take Iran's oil because we'll make a lot of money. Well, who's making all the money, Trump? Who's making that money? You and your friends? Yeah, you're making a lot of money at the pump also, you and your buddies, because now you're jacking up the prices because you have an excuse to jack up the prices. Well, it's because of the war. You and all your friends pushing the garbage narrative on Fox News, the SOSNICKs of the world. Short-term pain for long-term gain. Short-term pain for long-term gain. Fuck you. That's not why I voted for you. I didn't vote for you for short-term pain. I'm already in fucking pain supporting you. We're already taxed to death here, Trump. Our backs have already been broken, Trump. Healthcare, paying for illegals, property tax, state tax, sales tax, you name it, we're taxed to death. But hey, short-term pain. How much more pain can you give us? How much more pain? Isn't that why we voted for you? To take us out of the pain barrier? But no, of course not. Of course not. You know, Trump, the war's ending. We'll be out there in 24 hours. First it's a week, then it's 3 days. Now Political writes an article and Trump's like, I have no clue when it's going to end. I have no clue. It might escalate. It might not. He has no clue. No clue. Are you really surprised at this point? Are you really surprised at all? I'm going out of order here a little bit, but let me play the video about Trump said that he wants to take the oil.
We are obliterating that country. And I hate to do it, but we're obliterating, and they just don't want to say uncle. They don't want to cry, as the expression goes, uncle, but they will. And if they don't, they'll have no bridges, they'll have no power plants, they'll have no anything. I won't go further because there are other things that are worse than those two. And we might have, well, the thing, if I had my choice, what would I like to do? Take the oil. Because it's there for the taking. There's not a thing they can do about it. Unfortunately, the American people would like to see us come home.
Unfortunately, the American people would like to see us come home. The American people voted for you to not be there in the first place. And when you're saying you're making a lot of money, if you have Trump claims he has all this oil, that we got so much oil, even now, we don't need Iran for anything. We don't need their oil. Matter of fact, I don't even know why we're here. We're just bored. You know, we just do this out of habit. Trump said that a couple weeks ago. That's what he said. It's not my words. He's got all this oil and he wants to take more oil. Okay. Then why are gas prices through the roof, Trump? And when it's simple economics 101. This is kindergartner economics. You don't have to have a 20-year degree. When oil and gas are more expensive, it raises the prices on everything. So if Trump has all this oil and he's the oil god, then why are prices through the roof for everything, Trump? You know why, Trump? Because you're full of shit. You're a con man, Trump. We voted you in. We gave you the House. We gave you the Senate. We gave you the popular vote. What more could we have done for you? And this is how he says thank you. He turns around and puts his foot on our necks. And, you know, the SOSNICKs of the world, the Patrick Bet-David, the average Joes. No, you are the average Joes. Still supporting this garbage. The average Joes will just have to suck it up. Just suck it up. Hey, SOSNICK, here's my advice to you. Give Israel the same advice. Give the Israelis the same advice. Suck it up. Suck it up, buttercups. Fight your own war. Pay for your own health care, pay for your own college, pay for your own children to be born, pay for your own border, since the American citizen and taxpayers paying everything for Israel to have a better quality of life than Americans. So here, SOSNICK, give that advice to the country that you love so much named Israel, SOSNICK. You clown. I've already said enough curse words. I'm trying not to go, but you know, it's obvious. If this is not infuriating to you, if you're still an idiot that thinks that Trump is going to save the ship, Patrick Bet-David comes out today on his show, and you know what he says? Well, if Trump starts to change things by the World Cup will distract everybody from what's going on. This is how dumb they think you are. This is what they just think you're a bunch of fucking idiots. So soccer. So if the World Cup comes, you know, soccer, that's not even, hey, Patrick Bet-David, I have bad news for you. Soccer is not America's game. Football is, you know, American football. That's America's cup of tea, not soccer. So you think that soccer is going to make me be like, Trump's the greatest president in the world. We're having the World Cup. I don't give a shit if gas is $10 a gallon now. I don't care that steak is fucking $45 a pound because we have fucking soccer of all things. Do you hear how stupid you sound? You idiot. Just idiots. Just idiotic takes. Patrick Bet-David, still supporting this bullshit. Still supporting this. You're an idiot if you are MAGA and you voted for Trump and you are still supporting him at this point after all that he has broken every single promise that he's ran on. We had another young man today that lost his life to an illegal alien. A 15-year-old kid was lured somewhere. He thought he was going to meet a girl. An illegal alien was standing there with a gun, and guess what he did to him? Took his life. And that's on you, Trump. That's on you, Trump. You want to know why? Because you promised to get all these illegals out of here. And that's why I don't budge. I don't care what I get called. There shouldn't be one illegal alien in this country, because not one American citizen should ever lose their life to an illegal alien. If that means that all 55 million got to go and reapply so we know who you are, then so be it. Cry me a river. I don't see anybody crying for this American kid that got his brains blown out at 15 years old. So cry me a river. Cry me your sympathy story. I don't give a shit. You know who I care about? American citizens. That's who I care about. Regardless of your race or religion, I care about legal American citizens. And illegal immigration, it destroys everybody. It destroys our country for a few reasons. It destroys the job market. Don't tell me it doesn't affect. I'm so tired of the excuse of hearing, well, they do jobs that other people. No, that's not true. It's not that they do jobs that other people don't want to do. These big companies and the Elon Musks of the world, they want cheap foreign labor so they don't have to pay American citizens a good wage. It drives down the wages. That's what it does. So that bullshit excuse is old. Every state in America, every single state pays billions for illegal aliens to be here. Every state. Billions, not millions, billions. Oh, if you're illegal, free healthcare, free college, free everything. American citizen that's lived here and worked his whole life, paid his taxes, F you, get lost, we don't care. Makes sense, right? And you think you'd show some gratitude that you're in the country illegally. You think you wouldn't murder our citizens. You think you wouldn't sexually assault our citizens. You think you wouldn't commit fraud. But you know what? That's usually not the attitude. Usually the attitude is, you owe me. Israel has the same attitude. You see all these polls. Does America owe Israel? Does America owe? We don't owe Israel shit. We don't owe you anything. Matter of fact, when Germany was doing that to you, we gave you a place of refuge to stay to protect you. Why do we owe you? If you had a beef and you were mad at the Germans in Germany, I'd be like, okay, well, it kind of makes sense, right? You think America owes you? We don't owe you a effing thing. Matter of fact, we have given you everything, and it's just not good enough. We have given you our citizens' lives to die in endless wars for you. We pay for your health care. We pay for your child care. We pay for you to go to school. We pay for your terrorist activity around the globe. We pay for you to steal the Lebanese homes and land. We're paying for all of it. And I'm tired of paying for it. And Mark Levin, let me guess, Mark Levin, I'm a thug, right? I'm a thug for saying that. I'm uneducated for telling you the truth. What other words does he like to use? Oh, I'm a neo-Nazi fascist for saying that. Really? You're a neo-Nazi because you don't think that America should be totally destroyed and be into endless wars and endless debt, open borders, because we're doing everything for Israel and not America and our citizens here. That makes me a neo-Nazi? That's the best you could do? That's the best insult you can give me? Fucking clown. I said, you know what Mark Levin is? You ever see an ugly mole under somebody's armpit? Like you look at somebody and you see a mole on their, some ugly mole. That's what Mark Levin is. He's an ugly mole on somebody's armpit. Fucking clown. And don't forget that Mark Levin, Ben Shapiro, they're all Mossad agents. They work for the Israeli government. They're all Mossad agents. They drape themselves in patriotism. They're Mossad. They work for Mossad. Just like SOSNICK today. Of course, he's pushing the candidate in Florida for Senator Governor Myron Burf. Let me look up his name. Of course, the candidate is bought and paid for by Israel. But hey, what else would you expect? Candidate for governor of Florida. I forgot his name. Byron Murphy. Oh, Byron Donalds. Excuse me. Byron Donalds. Oh, yeah. You know how much Israel has already paid Byron Donalds? $50 million. He took $50 million, 45, 50. What's the difference? What's the difference? Of course, Patrick Bet-David. Of course, SOSNICK. Of course, his entire show is pushing Byron Donald. Why is that? Because he's bought and paid for by Israel. Why is the Patrick Bet-David show also pushing Marco Rubio as the next candidate? Because he's bought and paid for by Israel. So when Patrick Bet-David tries to pretend like he's America first, he's full of shit. Because if you're going to promote Israel first candidates on your show, how are you America first? I have to even question at this point if Patrick Bet-David works for Mossad, because he seems to have, I can bring the receipts of every politician and every individual that he promotes on his show that is Israel first, and the list is endless. It's just, man, I'll tell you. Let's watch Patrick Bet-David's show for a few minutes today. He said that his son told him he wants to join the military. Well, I have a question for Patrick Bet-David. I really do. If your son told you that he wanted to join the military, are you going to tell him the truth?
Through some of these stories on what we have.
Are you going to tell your son the truth if he joins the military? Here's the truth, son. You're not fighting for the United States of America. You're not honoring your country. You're not helping your people. You're fighting for the foreign nation of Israel. You have a possibility to lose your life for the country of Israel if you join the United States military, because that's who they're fighting for. When's the last time America's been invaded? When's the last time another country tried to come here and get their asses whooped? Because that's what exactly... No country in the world wants to have smoke with us on our own soil. They know how our citizens are here. We're the most heavily armed country in the world. You think a military, yeah, they might bomb us from a distance. You think they're ever going to put boots on the ground here? Trust me, that won't happen. And you know what? Knock yourself out and let's see how that goes. You hear about all these tough guys. Oh, the Serbians are tough. You know, this one's tough and that one's tough, and they're all these tough guys. Well, you do yourself a favor. Foreign troops put boots on American soil, and we'll tear your ass to shreds. So you do that. You give that a try. You see how that goes for you. Well, Patrick, let's get back to you. Are you going to tell your son who he's fighting for if he joins the United States military?
ICE arrests relatives of Salain, Iranian General Soleimani living in the U.S. after Rubio revokes their green cards. This is the niece and the daughter, if I'm not mistaken.
The niece and her daughter.
Oh, I'm glad he brought that up. So the Iranian niece gets deported because she was showing support. The Ayatollah's niece got deported because she was showing for support for Iran. Well, that's funny. I have a question. We got thousands of Mossad agents on American soil who have dual citizenship. The first thing I'm doing if I ever become president, I'm ending dual citizenship. Day one, if I can't pass that as a bill, executive order, dual citizenship is over. You got a choice. You can stay here or you can go back to the country you love so much. That's it. Not doing it anymore. So wait, you'll deport these Iranians because they're terrorists, right? They're all terrorists. All these Iranians are terrorists. I mean, yeah, the girl really looked like a terrorist. You know, she's walking around in a bikini half naked and driving a $300,000 car, but she really looks like a terrorist. Well, that's a different video. But we have all these Zionists that are influencing our elections, corrupting our politician, carrying out false flags, being involved in 9/11, being involved in the JFK assassination, being involved in the USS Liberty. AIPAC, you don't think that the people that run AIPAC should be deported? You don't think that the people that run the ADL, who want Jesus out of everything and don't even want you to say Merry Christmas without trying to you don't think they should be deported? You want to play this game? You want to go down this road? What a bunch of hypocrites. What a bunch of hypocrites. Whatever. Mark Levin will turn that into, oh, he's working for Al Jazeera. That piece of uneducated thug trash is working for Al Jazeera because, he said that Israelis with dual citizenship should be deported too. He's an Al Jazeera operative. Really? You need to check my bank account because I'll tell you, if they're paying me, a total of 40 cents, which is left in my bank account, Maybe I need to get a new job.
Niece and her daughter, yes. So we'll talk about that. White House hits out deranged liberal conspiracy theory claiming that Trump is in a hospital. He was definitely not in the hospital. Trump unveils $1.5 trillion of defense surge, deep domestic cuts. What's on the budget chopping blocks? We talk about that. Trump's request $152 million to reopen Alcatraz. Can you imagine? Like, everything's going on. Let's reopen Alcatraz. And you take the worst of the worst.
You think that's funny, PBD? Everything's going on, and Trump wants to open Alcatraz. Trump wants to spend $500 million on a fucking ballroom in the West Wing. Now he wants to open up Alcatraz so he could put anybody that criticizes him or Israel in jail there. And American taxpayers, you know, we don't have money for health insurance. We don't have money for daycare. We don't have money for school lunches. We don't have money for a border. And PBD will sit there with a smirk and a smile and laugh and be like, yeah, it's funny he's opening Alcatraz. It's fun. You know, we got $116 trillion for Israel to protect them. But you know what? All you blue-collar scum, all you working-class scum, we don't care if you work 93 jobs, don't have health care, your teeth are falling out of your mouth. You should have did better with the life you have because all the billionaire, trillionaire scumbags in this country have sold you out to the country of Israel and Benjamin Netanyahu so they can go commit terrorist acts around the world. It's so fun. They just call everybody's a terrorist but Israel. Everybody's a terrorist. Everybody. As you steal, you know, we saw what you did in Gaza. Now you're in Lebanon, stealing their homes, their lands, they're killing their people. But everybody else is the terrorist. Comical, huh?
Person, you put him on Alcatraz. Maybe he wants Heat 2 to come out. I don't know, like a sequel, because with somebody else, it was a
he
great
needs a
movie.
place for Gavin Newsom.
Not Heat 2. What was it called? Not The Rock?
The Rock.
The Rock. The movie, right? The Rock with Sean Connery and Nicolas Cage?
And
No, who
Ed
is it?
Harris. Ed Harris, Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage.
Yeah,
That's
great.
a very,
Welcome
very
to
good
The
movie.
Rock.
Yeah.
Very, very good movie. Very, very good.
I'm Sean Connery.
March job report came in. Looks very good. We talked about the Iran escalation. The rescue. Oh, my God. The rescue that they did. Unreal. Surprise. Shocking. Confusion. Unpredictable. Credit to the military that we have in the U.S. It's just absolutely something else. For them to have the job that they have and do what they did. And then we'll talk about some of the other stuff from the past, which was a failure that caused them
I got to
get
move
it
on a little bit here.
next week. What I do want to share with you is the following. At Valuetainment, we are a great miracle what these guys did. You guys in Italy, we have a miracle what these guys did. You got to respect the hell out of the military that we have, okay? You got to respect the hell out of what they do.
Who doesn't respect the military? We don't respect the people that are running the military, Patrick Bet-David. We don't respect President Trump. But obviously, you're going to pretend that he's not putting his. Patrick Bet-David is like the biggest shill for Trump at this point in Israel. It's like the big elephant, gigantic elephant in the room that he is not going to discuss. He's just not going to talk about it. Hey, Patrick Bet-David, one question for you. What did Trump run on? Answer the question. What did Trump run on? Here, I'll tell you. No new wars. America first. And it's America last. And PBD, you know, he's a billionaire, so to him, no big deal, you know. Suck it up, cupcake.
We're watching the news. You see the two pilots, you know. There's no way we're going to get them. It's over. It's going to be a hot mess. It's going to go back to what happened back in the days when under Khomeini, when he took over after the Shah, 66 Americans were held, you know, at the embassy, and then 52 of them were held hostage, and we had to do an Operation Eagle Claw. And it was a hot mess. You know, a C-130 crashed into a helicopter. 8 people died. It was nasty. So it's like, wait a minute. By the way, that's the last time we did an operation like this before. Last time. And obviously, the military, you got to give a lot of credit because Delta Force was involved back then. Nobody knew about Delta Force in the early 80s. It was Navy. It was everybody involved. Rangers were involved. Air Force was involved for the pilot of the C-130. It's like, are we going to do this again? Not for 53, not for 66. But just for 2, and this time the CIA is going to be involved? Yes. You're kidding me. Not at all. And so while we're all watching the news, Rob, if you want to play one of the clips, I don't know which one you have, we were told, this is it. It's done. Nothing can happen. And all of a sudden, these are some of the news reports that we get. And Vinny, I'm going to come to you first. Go ahead, Rob.
So we've just gotten a truth social from President Trump on all of this. It's a long one, so bear with me here. The president wrote, "We got him, my fellow Americans. Over the past several hours, the United States military pulled off one of the most daring search and rescue operations in U.S. history for one of our incredible crew member officers, who also happens to be a highly respected colonel, and who I am thrilled to let."
I got to move this on along a little bit. Nobody on PBD cast says, well, we shouldn't be there in the first place. But hey, then you'd have to actually tell the truth and make sense.
You know, is now
Iraqis as well. But anyway, from the mission standpoint, and America does not leave anybody behind.
All right.
And the front landing gear of the C-130 gouged in the mud at the...
As POW, and how to handle that. It's a very, very, like a survival, evasion, resistance, and escape. Like, what do you do if you're a prisoner of war? They trained you to what to do when they're asking you questions, all this stuff. It's one of the toughest trainings to go through. We have such a great military. This is part of it where, one of my kids comes up to me and says, "Dad, I want to go to the military." I'm like, "Hey, so you remember this conversation that we were at dinner?" I said, "We got to go to dinner. You got to talk to Vinny about it." She was asking, "Dad, what if we go, what if I said, Vinny, what do you want to tell him? He wants to go in the military." So Vinny's Air Force, I'm Army. And it's like, look, it's not like the guy needs to go for money. He's going because he loves America so much. Like he wants to say, this is what I want to do. So we're taking him to a military unit for him to make a decision whether he wants to do this or not. The only thing for me is he wants to do it as a career. Now, as a kid, as a father, you want your kids to be, closer to you. But look, if he's got that kind of a pride.
But you know how much I hope people understand and realize, because I already know the people. I'm like, oh, but send your own kids. Yeah. Guess what? I was there for the conversation, and when he brought it up, there wasn't 1 second when you said, hell no. You said, if that's what you want to do, that's what you're going to do. And it was that, because you nailed it. None of them ever have to do anything if that was the case. He literally said, I want to go, and I want to do this for the United States. That kid loves this freaking country.
America. Adam.
That's such a stupid argument, Vinny. That's the dumbest. That's one of Vinny's dumbest takes, because nobody wants to tell the truth here. And the truth is this, Patrick Bet-David. If you loved your son, which you obviously do, the conversation should have been, which should have been repeated today, the conversation to your son should have been, if you were having a real conversation, well, if you join the military, you do know you're going to get orders that you're really not going to like. That's why Vinny left the military, because they lied to him. Vinny says it all the time. They lied to him, and he was fighting wars that he didn't agree with. Well, did Patrick Bet-David have that conversation with his son? That if you join the military, most likely you're fighting, not most likely, it's just a matter, when I say most likely, I mean, you're going to eventually get into a war, but you'll be fighting for Israel all the time, because that's what America does. America doesn't fight for themselves. Nobody's attacking us, but that's the propaganda that you'll get on the news. We only fight for Israel. So again, what I want to know, did you have the conversation with your son that if you join the United States military, that you're actually fighting for Israel? Because that's the truth, PBD. And me and you both know that, and so does Vinny.
Well, this was an Easter miracle. And the pilot that was found, allegedly the 3 words that he said is, God is good, which basically...
I can't listen to SOSNICK's voice. I'm moving on. Listen, SOSNICK, he comes out today and he's trying to downplay affordability. He's like... he's bringing up football, and he's bringing up this, and he's bringing up the short-term pain for long-term game, and just suck it up. Just suck. What do Americans do? They bunker down, and they suck it up, and they just eat bologna sandwiches, no mayonnaise, no turkey, water and bread, and you just bunker down, and you only bunker down because guess what, little goyim? How dare you want to care for your own country? How dare you not want to fight for Israel? How dare you not want to go bankrupt for Israel, little goyim, little Gentile? So he tries to downplay affordability, and Patrick Bet-David knows, like, at that point, it's like, oh, he's going too far now. So Patrick Bet-David cuts him off, of course, and it's like, the next president that runs is really going to have to deal with affordability, because if they don't, they're not going to win. So Patrick Bet-David once again slaps SOSNICK across the face for looking like the idiot that he does every day. He's bought and paid for by Mossad too. Oh, the media, I didn't like Trump before because the media lied to me, and I was tricked by the media, and blah, blah, blah. And now all of a sudden he's like a forever Trumper, and he's only a forever Trumper because Trump is doing whatever Israel wants. And Ben Shapiro had the same stance, and Mark Levin had the same stance, and all these Zionists, all these Mossad agents, they all think that you're not paying attention and you can't figure this out. So he downplays affordability for Americans. It's a typical attitude like, you should want to give your life for Israel. You should want to be broke for Israel. You should want to be in debt for Israel. How dare you not want to? Your life means nothing anyway. And of course, what did Trump do? He went along with it. Israel first. Trump is the Israel first president. I mean, it came out of Mark Levin's mouth himself. Trump is the first Jewish president. Trump loves Israel more than he does America. I mean, you've seen the whole thing. He puts his arm around him like his little son. Well, there's nothing to see there, right? No, that's not really happening. There's no genocide going on. Israel's not committing any genocides. They're not stealing any land. They're not stealing any Lebanese homes. They're not killing their citizens. They're not putting us in forever wars. We're not paying for their health care. We're not paying for their free college. We're not paying for their border wall. We're not paying for them to have children. We're not paying to extend all of Israel's borders. And guess what? Guess what Benjamin Netanyahu said? After Israel becomes the superpower in the Middle East, you know what he said? You know what the thank you he gives to America? He tells he said it openly. After they do that, they want America out of the Middle East. And guess what's going to happen? They want to control all the oil and the fuel. And then they're going to turn. This is the end game. This is the end game. They want to make America dependent on Israel forever for oil and all the other mineral sources. That's all it is. That's the thank you that you get. That's the thank you that thousands of soldiers who lost their lives fighting for Israel, all the debt that we're put in, our people's quality, our American citizens' quality of life here sucks, absolutely sucks. And that's the thank you get. And you can debate me on this any day. I don't care what name you call me. You don't need to have a 50-year degree from Princeton to see what's going on here. All you got to do is do your own research and see where it's headed. And that's the thanks you get. After you conquer, every time a Middle Eastern country starts to bring up to, every country in the world wants to have a strong military. It's in their own benefit. Peace through strength. So if everybody's strong, nobody beefs with each other. Like, okay, let's, you know, the old saying in Texas, like Southern hospitality. And that's because everybody's packing heat so people know how to act. That's why every country wants to have their own military. So then people don't F with them. So every time a Middle Eastern country builds up their military, you know what they do? They give false intelligence to the CIA, our government, our politicians that they bought and paid for like Trump. They give them false intelligence. They have our military attack those other countries to weaken their military so they can become the big dog in the Middle East. That's what this whole thing is about. This whole invasion of Iran and attacking them unprovokingly is to make Israel the superpower in the Middle East. And they'll just keep lying and, oh, you're an anti-Semite, you're a neo-Nazi. That's all they can do that's all they do is name call. They cannot. And then when the neo-Nazi doesn't work and the anti-Semite doesn't work, then always the go. And they've been trained to say this. This is a fact. There's a school they go to get trained. And they'll say, you don't think that Israel has the right to exist. No, Israel doesn't think that all of the Arab countries don't have the right to exist. And how do we know this? Because they kill their people by the millions. They commit genocides against their neighbors. They're the one attacking everybody in the Middle East for their land, for their homes, for their oil. No, Israel thinks that nobody else has the right to exist. But this is what they always do. They always spin it to play the victim. Oh, so everything that you're saying, you don't think that Israel has the right to. Whoever said that Israel doesn't have the right to exist. That's their go-to. That's like their life preserver that they all use. So I'm pointing out the obvious, and whatever it makes me, I'm fine with it. You want to debate me? No problem. I'll tear you to shreds. So I operate in reality and the truth. And guess what? This isn't a Republican channel. This isn't a Democrat channel. This isn't that. Every single time that we get a president that pulls this bullshit and doesn't put every American citizen should have free health care. Every American citizen, if you want to go to college, it should be for free. And you're like, nothing is for free. We're taxed to death. All the money that we pay in taxes, it should pay for your health care. It should pay for your college. It should pay for your down payment on a home. If you just got married, the government, just like Gaddafi did, when his citizens got married and had children, he was buying them homes. He understood. It seems like whatever leader besides Israel that puts their people first, the American government wants to get rid of them off the planet. Could you imagine if the politicians in America went as hard for our citizens as Benjamin Netanyahu will nuke the entire planet for his people? Our people, our politicians, they'll look at you right in the face. They'll sell your health care. They'll sell your college. They'll sell your land. They'll send your kids to die. And then they'll turn around and be like, well, you should be thanking us. That's their attitude. That's all their attitudes. And that's why Republicans and Democrats, you can go all F yourselves, including Donald Trump. Here's another thing that I noticed about SOSNICK lately. This is another thing that he does strategically. Whenever he's taken heat for his idiotic bonehead things that he says every single day, he tries to take the attention off him and put it on PBD. For instance, today on the show, he says, well, you notice how after Patrick Bet-David took a phone call from President Trump on Easter, and then after that call, Trump went to X and wrote, "Praise be to Allah." And then Adam Sosnick was like, you notice that Trump said, "Praise be to Allah," after he spoke to Patrick Bet-David, because people think that Patrick Bet-David is an Iranian asset or a Mossad agent. So he's trying to take the attention and the spotlight off of him, and he's trying to make the internet go ablaze. Like, so everybody makes a video and is like, after Trump talked to Patrick Bet-David, he went to X and said, "Praise be to Allah. Patrick Bet-David is he's a Muslim extremist. He's a terrorist. He's working for Iran." Do you see what Sosnick does? You think you're sneaky? You think you're crafty, Sosnick? You think you're smart? You can never outmaneuver me. You think nobody's paying attention to what you do? You think nobody's paying attention to the way you operate? How you bring up football? You don't know anything about football. You know what you know? You know picking up barely legal teenagers in Florida on the weekends in Miami nightclubs. That's what you know. And you know about shilling and putting Israel first. That's what you know. You think nobody's paying attention to you, pal? You think nobody knows what's going on here? Well, you better think again. Then two weeks before that, Sosnick tells Patrick Bet-David. Now think about Patrick Bet-David's audience. It's like really right or center right or whatever. Sosnick, he gets himself in a heap of trouble, and he looks at Patrick Bet-David and he goes, first Sosnick, he's come out in videos and he goes, "I'm America first." Then he comes out on the show and he's like, "Listen, you could love both countries equally. You're a loser in your mom's basement drinking Mountain Dew if you don't think that I could love Israel and America the same." Well, if you love both countries the same, that means you're not America first. So what does Sosnick do? He tries to pull PBD into it. He goes, "PBD, you're from Iran. Don't you love Iran as much as you do America?" And PBD knows, like, hey, I can't go here. I got to shut this. He's like, "No, America is the greatest country in the world." It's like, Sosnick, do you have any respect for your boss? You know why I ask you, do you have any respect? You want to know why? Because what he's doing and what he's saying is intentional and it's calculated. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's trying to get all the negative publicity off him and pass it on to his boss. And if I'm his boss, he's fired. Like, he's done. So when you see Sosnick being able to keep operating in this fashion, he looks into the camera every day. He lies like Sean Hannity. It's just lie after lie, Israel lie. When you see him operating in this fashion, and then when he knows he's totally cooked, he pushes it off on his boss to destroy his credibility and his business even more. And PBD's like, oh, well, I can't do nothing about it. You know, SOSNICK keeps me from getting strikes on my channel. SOSNICK brings me checks from Israel because that's the only thing it could be. SOSNICK, we're on to you, pal. We are on to you, so don't worry. The game you're playing, you could fool some people. You could fool the average guy. You could fool some idiots that you're a good person, but we both know the truth about that. You are very far from being a decent human being, Adam. So you can call it whatever you want. Israel derangement syndrome. You know, you're trying to be like your idol Trump now. And why are you idolizing Trump? Because he's Israel first. That's why. I'm going to move off of the PBD show. Let me move on to the next topic. Let me see. Hold on. History. Give me a second. Here's Trump saying he could take... Trump says entire country of Iran can be taken out in one night. Why would you want to take the entire country out, Trump? Are you going to tell me that all Iranian citizens, they're all terrorists? You don't care about these children? You don't care about the good Iranian people? Wait, aren't we there to liberate the Iranian people? We want to liberate the Iranian people. They're being oppressed. They're being oppressed. We're there to liberate you. But Trump says the entire country of Iran can be taken out in one night. Seems to me you want to turn it into a desert or a parking lot so Israel can expand its borders as far as they want to go in Iran. So let's listen to Trump tell us in his own words. Oh, God.
A rescue that's very historic. It'll go down in the books. Late Thursday night, an American F-15 fighter jet went down deep inside enemy territory in Iran while participating in Operation Epic Fury, where we're doing unbelievably well, well at a level that nobody's ever seen before. The entire country can be taken out in one night, and that night might be tomorrow night. Both members of the crew ejected from the aircraft and landed alive on Iranian soil. I immediately was asked to make a decision. I ordered the U.S. Armed Forces to do whatever was necessary to bring our brave warriors back home. A risky decision because we could have ended up with 100 dead as opposed to 1 or 2. It's a hard decision to make. But in the United States...
Do you know how dangerous this situation is? Do you know how dangerous this situation is? You do understand that Iran is not giving in, right? You do understand that their heels are dug in. And I don't blame them. Because they know that if they just hand over all their weapons and missiles, that Israel's going to slaughter them anyway. So why would I hand over anything to you? I'll be like, listen, I'll take my chances on the battle. I'm going down swinging. This situation is so dangerous. It's like, I can't even put it in words. Because if I'm Iran and Trump just starts bombing the shit out of them, blowing up everybody and doing what he says he's going to do, why wouldn't you push the nuke button? You've seen how spiteful Iran has been. You've seen how spiteful they've been. Oh, you want to bomb us? We're going to close down the whole Strait of Hormuz. Nobody's going to get oil. Nobody's going to get food. Nobody's going to get fertilizer. F you, F Israel. So they're not playing games either, Trump. You're walking right into a nuclear war. Do they look like they're backing down? Do they sound like they're backing down? Seems like they're a formidable opponent to me, Trump. I mean, after all, every time they send a peace negotiator, every single time Iran sends a peace negotiator to negotiate peace with Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, that piece of garbage, piece of trash, you know what Israel does? They assassinate the peace negotiator because they don't want peace.
United States military, we leave no American behind. We don't do it. Within hours, our armed forces deployed 21 military aircraft into hostile airspace, many flying at very low altitude, being shot by bullets. You bring rifles into play when you're going that low.
All right, I'm not listening to him pretend like he's the hero. Well, guess what, Trump? If we weren't there in the first place, you wouldn't have to rescue anybody. So you're not the hero, Trump. You're the villain. You decided to go to war. You're mad at all our allies because they don't want to join your stupid fucking war that you shouldn't be in. They don't want anything to do with it because they know you're wrong. They know Israel's wrong, and they know why you're doing this war. You're not doing it to save the Iranian people because you don't give a shit about the Iranian people. You've just said out of your own mouth you will blow up the entire country, and in the next breath you're going to tell us you're trying to free the Iranian people? Do you think nobody's paying attention? No, you're there to expand Israel's borders, and if you kill everybody, you don't give a single shit. You know why? Because you're compromised. That's why. Because you're bought and paid for. That's why. Political, there's an article today. I'm not going to read the whole article because you already get the point. You see what this hypocrite is doing. Trump can't say whether the war is winding down, escalating, de-escalating. 1 minute we won the war, then we're escalating, then we're de-escalating, then Iran is surrendering. I don't see any of that. You know what I see Iran doing? I see a country that's ready. I see a country that's saying, you know what? We're not letting Israel dictate who our leader's going to be. We're not going to let the West dictate how they live over there, putting up with, in our country, who is America to preach to any other country how to live? We have 300,000 fentanyl deaths a year here. See, Trump keeps bringing up, Iranians slaughtered 50,000 Iranian citizens. First of all, I don't believe that number because there's no evidence of it. Okay, and even if it's true, 50,000 Americans die every month of fentanyl poisoning, illegal aliens killing. Nobody cares about us. And I'm not saying I don't care about the Iranians, but that's just an excuse. That's just an excuse. We got to go in there because they slaughtered the people. Well, guess what? In the greater scheme of things, people die every day. When American citizens die, does anybody care? The first casualty, one of the first casualties of war, I said this before, was a young black kid from Brooklyn. And they asked his family, why did he join the military? Like, he needed money for college. Why should a young black kid from Brooklyn be dying in Iran or Israel for their country? He should be at college where he wanted to be because college should be for free. And all the money, everything that we get taxed on, food, home, this, that, it should be free because of all the tax. If I hear one more Democrat or Republican say, we can't give free health insurance, that's all fucking bullshit. I don't care if you don't like me cursing today. You're going to have to get over it. It's all bullshit. Total bullshit. Nothing's for free. Well, guess what? Israel gets all of it for free, and the American taxpayer is the one paying for it. And then on top of paying for all their free shit, you get taxed again. So maybe we shouldn't send money to Israel by the trillions. Maybe we should take care of our own people. And when Democrats and Republicans are like, well, where are we going to get the money from? I don't know. Maybe since you tax us to death, you could take it from there. You scumbags. You're all scum. You are the scum off my shoe. Every single one of you politicians is the scum off my shoe, literally. Trump, we're going to make a lot of money on this oil. I want to take all of Iran's oil. Okay, well, why are the prices high then, Trump? Oh, that's right. So him and his friends can make all the money. Why we get destroyed. While we get the foot on our neck. What country, since we're saving Israel, we're saving all these countries around the world, is there any other countries in the world that look at American citizens and say, I feel sorry for these people? They're getting destroyed. Their quality of life is terrible. They don't have health care. The majority of them are obese, have health issues, hooked on pharmaceutical drugs. Is any country going to come rescue us? Nope. Nope. Not going to happen. And it never will. Never will. Let me move on because I'm getting really disgusted as I speak. Let me end it with this. So we had another scuzz bucket. We had another illegal alien that he thought it was going to be a good idea. Let me tell you what he did, this lowlife. This one's on Trump. This one's on Trump. Hold on. Let me pull it up. course, it's not here. Well, here's another article. I'm not going to read it. Illegal immigrants offered insane sweetheart deal in murder case. So they're murdering people left and right. Here's another one from a couple days ago. This 14-year-old kid was killed today. He thought he was meeting a girl online, and he went there and he got slaughtered, of course. But hey, you know what? None of it's actually Trump's fault. Because, I mean, after all, he did campaign on getting rid of the illegal criminals, right? Who are murdering and sexual. I don't know how you can operate in another country and be illegal. Because if I went to Mexico illegally, they would run up on me on the street and be like, show me your passport. And when I didn't, I would get tossed into prison for 10 years. All the South American countries have the strictest immigration laws. Is that racist? Is it ever racist when they enforce their border laws? Oh, no, that doesn't count. No. It's only racist in America. So let me try to find an article. I really want to read it. Let me try to pull it up. Virginia father charged with murdering infant daughter as illegal alien. I wasn't even looking for that one. Illegal migrant babysitter accused in 5-year-old attack now faces major charges. I mean, it's just DHS slams insane 5-year plea deal for illegal immigrants who admitted fatal stabbing in Virginia. A legal immigrant accused of murdering wife in Texas just weeks after marriage. ICE fights release. Feds charge illegal immigrant and Loyola student killing as attorney says prosecutors lack faith in state. 14-year-old boy arrested in Mexico for drug-related murder of 8. Another illegal alien that was in America. Look, you get the point. Okay, I'm going to try to find so I can. I can't. They didn't even say the kid's name today, but he was 14 years old. He was talking to somebody online. He's a young kid, hormones raging. He thinks he goes to meet a girl. He begs for his life. And the thanks that he gets from the illegal alien, I'm going to put a you-know-what to your head and pull the trigger. And guess what? Every time you see a case like this of an illegal alien killing an American citizen, guess whose fault it is? It's Trump's fault. I don't want to hear about Joe Biden, Trump. Hey, J.D. Vance, I don't want to hear about Joe Biden. I don't want to hear about Kamala Harris. I don't want to hear about Mayorkas because guess what? You're the president now. And you ran on taking care of this. And you chose to shit in your voters' face once again. You don't have money for a border wall. You don't have the money for deportations. You don't have the money for healthcare, schooling. You don't have money for anything but your rich buddies and your boss, Benjamin Netanyahu, in Israel. Oh, let me guess. I'm suffering from Israel derangement syndrome, right, SOSNICK? No, more like I'm telling the truth that President Trump has sold you out. MAGA is dead and finished, just like Trump's presidency. And with that being said, thanks for tuning in to Unbreakable with Chris Chamasaros.